Hey everyone, welcome to VSG. Let's do this. This is my vlog and my journey for weight loss surgery at the age of 58. So just a quick update here. My starting weight was 399 back in August of last year. I lost 66 pounds before surgery. And so my surgery weight on February 27th, 2019 was 333. Today I weigh 283, so that's a total of 50 pounds lost since surgery and 116 pounds lost since my highest weight. So last week to this week, I did not lose anything, which is always a little discouraging, I'm not going to lie. But I changed some things up this week. I had 2 days where I went to an aqua aerobics class, and it was really fun. I had a little short video about that during the week. Went twice. Plus I went on long walks with my dog every day. So I think just the extra exercise this week probably has bumped up, or not bumped up, but kept my weight the same. So who knows, hopefully next week I'll lose some more, but I'm okay with that. You know, stalls aren't fun. I don't know if it's a stall. We'll see when I take measurements later in the week. But anyway, it is what it is. I'm sticking to my diet and everything I'm supposed to be doing, so things are going well in that regard. Earlier this month, I told you I'd be making a video about how I gained all my weight. And so today is the day. And I'll just start by saying, you know what? This is not easy for me to talk about. And I'm not proud of any of this. And I don't share this with anybody except my therapist that I've had. And you'll know why I'm seeing a therapist when I talk to you. It's not a particularly happy story, but here goes. So in 1994, I was teaching high school on a U.S. military base in Italy, Spain. I was in Livorno, which was about 20 minutes from Florence, Italy, just to give you an idea where it was. I lived in a little hilltop town outside of Livorno, so I was the only American in this whole little town, this little village. It was very little, like maybe 15 or 16 homes, and a church, of course. And I was having a blast. I'd been teaching for about 7 years or so. So it was actually Super Bowl Sunday, and because I'm American and working on a U.S. military base, I was able to get U.S. military TV. And so Super Bowl Sunday, of course, they're showing the Super Bowl. Now, it's the middle of the night, and I don't really care about football, but I'd left it on because Bonnie Raitt was going to be the halftime entertainment, and I thought that would be kind of entertaining. Okay, so here comes the yucky part. During the halftime, I was in bed. I'd been asleep, and I woke up during halftime, and I heard somebody break into my house. And it turned out 2 Italians broke into my house. They robbed me of everything. I was on the 3rd floor of a townhouse. I lived on all 3 floors. It was a large house. So they entered in the living room. They went down to the kitchen level and they cut the power. And then as they worked their way up to the 3rd level where my master bedroom was, I'm not going to go into much more detail than that. It's just the 2 Italian men came in, they came to my bedroom, and they raped me, and they attacked me, and they tried to kill me. To this day, I don't really know why I survived it. And so it was a horrible incident. It lasted about 4 hours, the whole attack did. It wasn't pretty. I don't know how. They just at some point left after I said I wouldn't call the police in Italian. They seemed to leave. So the attack was awful, but the aftermath, if anybody that's been sexually assaulted knows, the after attack in some ways is worse. And after that, I'd actually finished the school year for about the next 3 months, and then I moved back to Oregon, where I live now, because I didn't want to stay there anymore. And when I got attacked, I was like in the best shape of my life. I was running about 5 miles every day, and just tip-top shape. I was in great shape. Probably the best shape of my entire life. when that happened. So I came back to Oregon, and probably the first year or so, I didn't gain any weight. I kind of kept things going. But then I dislocated a knee, and so that reduced my activity level, and all the PTSD, sorry. Just talking about this is hard. Just the PTSD from the flashbacks and hypervigilance and everything just spun me out of control, even though now you know why I was seeing a therapist. And back when I was attacked, they did not have any good treatments for PTSD. So you basically just saw a therapist and stuff. Well, that wasn't really helping me that much. And so I started gaining weight. And honestly, I didn't consciously do this at the beginning or any time really. But I started gaining weight from that point on, because partially I just didn't care that much at that point, but also now I think subconsciously, I don't think consciously I ever thought of this, but subconsciously I thought, well, if I was heavier, then men wouldn't look at me as much, and then my chances of getting attacked again would be reduced. I know that sounds crazy, but after you've been attacked, then you think it's possible from every corner, whereas the chances of it ever happening again are just minuscule anyway. So I started packing on the weight then, and I'd go through periods, this was about 25 years ago. I'd go through periods of packing on the weight, and then I'd be able to lose like 100 pounds or more, and then I would gain it all back again. And I know people know that story. So it wasn't like I just kept packing it on and on and on. There were times when I lost weight. And one of the times I was being really, really successful was about 8 years ago. And then I got a call from my mom and my brother. I have 3 brothers, but this brother was 15 months older than me. So we were like besties. We were just best friends. We were totally different personalities, but we just loved each other. We never fought in our whole lives ever. But I got a call in 2011 that he had kidney cancer. He'd had it before where they removed a kidney, and it was stage 1, and they thought they got it all. But this time it had metastasized through his body. And he was only 51 at the time, so he was very young. But the other thing was he was taking care of my mother, who was wheelchair bound. And so when I got the call, of course I went to help, but I had to take care of not only him, but my mother too, while I was still working as a teacher. So my life went insane, and the last person in the world I could help was myself. So I got them taken care of, and I didn't take care of myself at all. And about 6 months later, my brother died. And actually today is the anniversary of his death, and it's a very hard day for me. I was with him every single step of the way. Of course I'd be with him. I loved him so much. I saw him through all the hospital stays. I saw him through his life deteriorating and his brain deteriorating, which was really hard because he was so smart. He was way smarter than me. It was hard to watch that. It was hard to watch all of that. Watching him die was really hard all the way through. And especially when you're young. I mean, 51, people will say that's not young, but it is young. For people nowadays, 51's pretty young. So after he died, I had to keep taking care of my mom and try to grieve this loss. And I kept packing on more weight. And then 3 years later, my mother died. And I still wasn't really taking care of myself. But my Achilles tendon ruptured, and I had to have surgery. And after that surgery, 3 weeks later, I caught shingles, and it was just a mess. And I never was really the same after that. So then I really packed on a lot of weight, and that's how I got up to that 399. So not only was it the rape and the aftermath of that, my brother getting cancer, my brother dying, my mom getting sick and dying, and then me rupturing my Achilles tendon. So there's all this stuff that happened all at once. And I'm not saying this like, oh, woe is me. I don't believe that. But I do think that there's reasons why people gain weight. So I'm making this video not because of me and to feel sorry for me. You shouldn't feel sorry for me. But there's reasons why people gain weight. And I know there's a lot of things that can happen to people's lives, and it can happen in succession like it did with me. and you gain your weight. And if you're one of those people, I don't want you to feel like you're alone, because there's other people like us out there. Reach out. Reach out to me if you need to. That's fine. I'd be happy to talk with you about it. But it was hard. So I had a good, strong 4 intense years with my brother and my mother. They were being sick and dying. And then plus the rape stuff. I'm happy to report now, the rape aftermath is pretty much done. I finally found a therapist about 3 years ago, maybe, and she does this thing called EMDR, and it actually causes your brain to take the horrible things that are causing the triggers and the flashbacks and reset them in a different part of your brain so you don't continue to have flashbacks. So I did a pretty intense couple of years with that, and now I don't have any flashbacks, or the rape stuff really doesn't bother me at all. I think it was because of that I was able to finally come to grips with needing to have this weight loss surgery, needing to lose this weight, and getting it off finally, because those things aren't in my way anymore. I'm still sad about my brother's death, but I've processed it now. So in August, I took the steps, and I haven't looked back. And I also think, like, in a way, this is kind of weird, but in the way, as I'm shedding the weight 116 pounds later, I'm kind of shedding also all that emotional turmoil that was going on in my life between the rape and all the death that was happening. And so as I'm getting better and feeling better physically, I notice too that emotionally I'm feeling better. And in some ways it's like freeing. In some ways it's really empowering, because I'm getting this weight off and I'm getting my life back that I really haven't had in quite a while. So that way, even though it's a really crummy story, it's having a good ending. Right now, I'm about the weight I was when my brother got sick. So I still have, obviously, a lot of weight to lose still, but it's nice to be getting processed through that. So again, if that you've been through something similar to that, like that, and you feel like you can comment about it down below, I know that your story would help others too, as hopefully my story will help people. So that's the big story I wanted to share with everybody. So like when I watched the 600-pound life, like I did before my surgery, if you notice, like so many people had been sexually assaulted, and that was the basis of them gaining weight. Well, I could always relate to that. And I obviously never got to 600 pounds, but I was working my way up pretty good. So, it's really just a cry for help. People need to get the help they need. There's no shame in that, doing that. So that's what I wanted to share today. Other than that, nothing much has been going on except doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm eating right. I'm adding in some extra exercise now. And things are going well. All right, everybody, I'll stop for now. You all have a really good week, and I will see you again next week. Bye.